Just as I thought. It was the wind pressure. A dust devil blown here from glorious Japan!
No, not wind pressure. They probably used the Monokuma panels. A huge number of tipped-over Monokuma panels were found at the crime scene, right? It looked like they were scattered everywhere, but some were laying on top of each other in a single line. Just a single line leading from the warehouse door to the fire's origin.
Does that mean anything?
The killer probably arranged those Monokuma panels to create a domino effect.
A domino effect? You mean those tiles kids play with by lining them up and tipping them over?
In place of those tiles, the killer used the Monokuma panels. So when we opened the warehouse door, the first panel toppled into the second. And from there, they fell like dominoes until they reached the lighter at the end.
But wouldn't it be obvious that those big panels were falling over?
That's probably why they turned off the lights in the warehouse, so we wouldn't notice them.
So the reason the warehouse was dark was to hide the domino effect.
And one
We're
more
getting
thing.
somewhere.
There was something else the killer did to hide the domino effect, right?
The killer did one more thing to hide the domino effect. Probably the music? MP3 player?
I see! You're talking about the MP3 player,
We got
right?
this.
That hymn blaring throughout the warehouse masked the sound of the falling panels.
The inside of the warehouse felt even darker because our eyes were still used to the bright sunlight outside. Within that darkness, a loud hymnal blared throughout the warehouse at full volume. Hey, do you guys hear something? Yeah, it's really damn loud. Does that get to like listening to this depressing crap? No, I'm not talking about the music. It's as if it, on cue, it suddenly started.
That's it. So the strange sound was actually the sound of the panels falling.
But those sounds weren't the only strange thing, right? Looking back on it, it was also strange when we opened the door to the warehouse.
It's fine, I'll open it slowly. Oh no, that's not the problem. Seriously, you'll be fine. With those words, Akane brushed off everyone's warnings and slowly opened the door to the warehouse. Ah, it's not opening? Is that something blocking the door? I can barely open it. I knew it, it's a trap. Seriously, just stop it, okay? Didn't I tell you we'll be fine? I just gotta use a little more force. What happened to open it slowly? Akane ignored the protest and with a mighty kick, the door flew open.
Ah, so the door was being blocked by a Monokuma panel.
And when we opened the door, the domino effect started, and the falling panels eventually reached the lighter.
Yeah, and that's how the warehouse caught on fire. At least, that's how it looks.
You don't look so sure.
At the time, Akane mentioned that she could barely open the door.
Because the panel was blocking it, right?
With the blocked doorway, there wasn't enough space for a person to fit through, right?
Is that a problem?
It's a major problem. I mean, that door was the only entrance to the warehouse.
If the door was the only entrance to the warehouse... I see, so the problem Jack is talking about is... we couldn't take any merch, they could have hidden inside, the killing couldn't have left.
I see!
Yeah.
If the panel was so close to the door that it could barely be opened, the killer inside the warehouse wouldn't be able to leave, right?
Now that you mention it.
Does that mean they were hiding inside?
Who? We were all outside the warehouse, you know.
Based on the patterns up until now, I believe some kind of setup was used.
You don't have to think so hard. There's actually only one person who could have possibly done this.
You don't mean...
But if that's true, this murder...
Hajime? What do you mean?
The person who set up the domino effect inside the warehouse, so only one person could have done that. Oh my god, well... it's gonna be Sonia, I think. That's not it! The person who set up the domino effect in the warehouse was someone else. Oh, okay, never mind then. Akane... Fuyuhiko... Nagito? That does make sense. It would have been him.
This is my answer. What if it was Nagito?
That's what I was thinking too.
Why'd you bring him up? He's the victim, you know.
He wasn't just the victim. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe he was either working with the murderer, which he has said multiple times that he would, or it was suicide
Huh?
in some way.
Not just the victim? What does that mean?
The fact that there was poisonous gases in the area does make Nagito very
He
suspicious,
was the victim.
even though he is the
and
victim.
he was the perpetrator too. Maybe.
Are you saying this was a suicide? Don't be stupid. His body was covered in torture wounds. Or did you already forget?
That's true.
Are-
But
Are
still,
you saying those were all self-inflicted?
But Nagito might do something like that, don't you think?
That's not the issue. He was tied up, remember?
we've assumed the fireplace panels and stuff and Nagito's murder was done by the same person as part of the same crime, but maybe it was two different things? Maybe Nagito was trying something before he was killed.
Even
Maybe.
for a creep like Nagito, it'd be impossible for him to tie up his own arms and legs.
But that wouldn't make much sense because he does have torture wounds on himself. So those were either caused by the killer, in which case the killer was there before whatever Nagito was doing happened, which is the fire adjusting the panels to tip over, the poison, or the wounds were inflicted by Nagito himself.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, as long as you understand.
It seems we need to discuss how Nagito was able to tie himself up.
He did have one of his limbs available, right?
Need to discuss? That's not necessary at all. No matter how much you think about it, it's clearly impossible.
Did Nagito really kill himself? Like I said, it seems impossible if you think about it, but I feel like I'm overlooking something. Another argument. Torture wounds, burns rope, survival knife, duct tape, monokuma panels, oil lighter. Probably the burns rope, right?
To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible.
Tying just the legs is one thing, but
Let me see something actually. Survival knife. Stabbed through his right hand. Burnt rope. Wait, where is it? Oh, there we go. The rope was tied to Nagito's right arm, was burned off. It's Nagito we're dealing with.
Tying
Motherfucker
both
would
arms would be
overcomplicate this shit.
impossible.
That seems like the
He
case.
couldn't do much with the free arm.
Right now, I definitely...
It'd be impossible.
He's definitely
if
my
you were by
biggest
yourself.
suspect.
how about if you use your teeth?
Use your
Or
teeth.
if you use your front tail?
Yeah, front tail. Not sure about that.
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
If our assumption that Nagito committed suicide is correct, Nagito should have tied himself up too.
To actually
Burnt
tie up your
rope,
own
survival
arms and legs.
knife,
That's obviously impossible.
duct tape,
Tying just the legs is
monokuma
one thing,
plushie,
but tying both arms would
oil
be
lighter.
impossible.
You couldn't do much with the
wounds,
free arm.
burnt rope.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
How about if you use your teeth? Or if you use your front tail?
Survival knife.
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
This is not that easy.
To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible.
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible.
You couldn't do much with the free arm.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
How about if you
Eh?
use your teeth?
I missed that
Or
shot.
if you use your front tail?
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
Okay, let's try again now. Let's try to actually...
To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible!
Let's try to contradict this with the burnt rope.
You couldn't do much with the free arm.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
No, let's... is that... No, that's it. That's it, right?
Is that a dirty joke?
Okay, let's actually shoot this time.
To actually tie up, that's obvious.
Tying just a leg, tying both arms.
You couldn't do much with the...
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
No, that's not it. I know it's gonna be the first one, right?
To actually tie up your
Your own arms and legs.
No, that's
Oh,
wrong.
I got it. Because he didn't tie all of his limbs.
Hold on a sec. Isn't that premise flawed?
What? I mean, it's no mistake that his arms and legs were...
But do we even know if his hands were tied up? One of his hands was not. Sure, his hand had ropes tied to them, but were they tied to anything else? They weren't, right? They were just bundled off. One of his hands was tied to a pillar or something, but the other one was not.
No, it shouldn't have been both of his arms. The rope on his right arm was completely burnt up. Based on that, you can't say he was tied up.
That was just burned by the fire. He should have been tied up before then.
It burned because of the fire. Like you said, it might look like that.
But there was no burning on his sleeves. So
But
it
that
was
was
definitely
part of the trap.
controlled.
There's concrete evidence that proves it.
The proof the burnt rope on Nagito's arm is a trap. His sleeve.
I see.
Take a close look at his right sleeve. Even though the rope was burnt up, his sleeve wasn't burned at all. Wouldn't you agree? A burn like this, no matter how you think about it, is unnatural.
So Nagito did this to make it seem like he was all tied up. And he used the fire to burn the rope to make it seem like the rope was just burned from the fire. But there was no burning on his sleeve, so it was definitely controlled. It was not the
That rope was
wildfire
burned
that
in
burnt
advance,
the
so it
rope.
would look like it was burned in the fire.
Then Nagito's right arm wasn't tied up, right? He was able to move it freely, right?
Yeah, that should be the case.
Hajime, that's awesome! I'll let you cop a feel if you want.
Akane, you should not give it away for free. Make sure they pay you first.
Pay you
That's
first.
definitely wrong.
Fine. I just gotta get a Benjamin from him before I let him touch me, right?
Alright.
That's not what I meant. I'm talking about Nagito.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, even if his right hand wasn't tied up, the knife was still
Yeah.
stabbed into it.
There was
you
still
know?
a knife in
It's
it. But
impossible to stab a knife into your right hand with your right hand.
a Benjamin. I think
That much
that's
is obvious.
I think that's like one of the presidents that are in one of the dollar bills, I think. Hello, AYGJ. How are you doing on this afternoon? But yeah, how would you stab your own hand
Hajime,
into the floor?
tricked me! Give me back that Benjamin!
Only did she try to charge me, now she wants the money back. What the hell?
Hold on. There should be a way.
Then hurry up and spill it.
If it's something lame, I'll make you give back the Benjamin with 10,000% interest.
I don't actually know what presidents are in the dollar bills, but I've definitely heard the expression Benjamin referring to money before, so I think that must be it. It's probably like $100 or something like that. A way to stab yourself in your right hand using only your right hand. I mean, sounds pretty difficult to be honest. It's definitely an answer for this. Are we gonna get into another argument? Torture wounds, burnt rope, survival knife, monokuma plushie, blood on the girdle, monokuma panels. Let's check the blood on the girdle to start with. Blood on the girder. Girder? I think red line was on the ceiling girder. Was that it? This might be it, right? Maybe he stabbed himself first and tied himself later. Maybe. Yeah, I can see that. The blood on the girder is suspicious though. Maybe the knife was set up to fall on his hand? But how though? I really wish we had more information on this, like does this is like directly above his hand or directly above his stomach? Because this could be either the knife or the spear. The lines from the spear, right? That's what I thought originally, but we don't know. It might be the knife? Maybe? Doesn't make much sense though. The knife's to the military base. He couldn't have used his mouth because it was shut with duct tape. I guess we're gonna listen to what they're saying. So the Gito's right hand was free.
How could he stab his right hand with his right hand?
It's
If he
true.
threw the knife into the air and let the knife fall,
Knife fall.
could
Blood
he
on the
stab his hand
good.
that way? Is he a throwing knife expert?
I mean, he's lucky.
Maybe he propped the knife somehow?
Let's try this. No,
It's wrong?
that's not it.
Even if Nagito's right hand was free, how could he stab his right?
If he threw the knife and let the knife...
Could he stab his hand that way?
Is he a throwing knife? Maybe he propped the knife somehow? And slammed his right hand down on it?
Propped it onto what? If he just propped the knife, he could have used his bound left hand.
Spound's left
If you're
hand.
tied up, your arms won't bend that easily. We don't know if his left hand could even reach his right hand.
If Nagito could only use his right hand to stab himself in the palm, then how did he do it?
Even if Nagito's right hand was free,
Odin could leave the room
how
without
could he
using the
stab
door
his
because
right hand
magic.
with his right hand?
If he threw the knife into the air and let the knife fall,
The knife fall, blood on the good.
could he stab his hand that way?
No, it's not it.
It's wrong?
Okay, it's not gonna be the good. Just forget about
Even
it.
if Nagito's right hand was
Monokuma's
free,
panels, oil lighter,
how could he
Choo-choo
stab his right
wounds.
hand with his right hand?
burnt rope.
If he threw the knife into the air and let the knife fall, could he stab his
Maybe
hand
we
that
need
way?
to take a bullet from one of these.
Is he a throwing knife expert?
Maybe he propped the knife and slammed his
Propped the
right hand
knife
down
somehow?
on it?
Oh, I couldn't take that.
Propped it onto what? If he just propped the knife, he could have used his bound left hand.
His bound left
If you're tied
hand.
up, your arms won't bend that easily. We don't know if...
Let me see something. Monokuma plushie was found on the floor near the fire's origin point. Had a huge bloody hole on its stomach, as if he was stabbed. Huh. Huh. Maybe that's how he did it? Because the blood on the plushie might have just come from his hand, but that still doesn't make much sense. How would he get rid of the plushie after he stabbed himself with it? What kind of prop would that be? I don't know. I guess like the plushie would fall on top of his hand, but that doesn't make sense. Because how would he get rid of the plushie after? So that's not it. I think we have to get one of the arguments here and use them against themselves. I don't think it's gonna be any of the bullets we already have.
Even if Nagito's right hand was free, how could he stab his right hand with his right hand?
Maybe he thought it would burn, but it was not close to where his hands were though. It was like actually pretty far away from him, as you can see on this picture. So that's not it. It couldn't have been propped up by the plushie, I don't think. Though that would explain the blood on the plushie. And the hole on the plushie, that's where he propped up the knife. But maybe we should try just to see what happens, I guess.
And let
Burnt
the knife
rope,
fall.
survival knife, Monokuma
Could he
plushie.
stab his hand that way? Is he a throwing knife?
Maybe he propped the knife somehow?
Oh,
I agree with that.
we actually got this, so that was correct. What?
The life-size Monokuma plushie. He must have used that to prop the knife.
Makes sense. That's why there was a big hole in the plushie's stomach.
Yeah, but like, That doesn't explain everything, though. He was
He
very
inserted
far
the
away.
knife handle into that hole to prop it up. Then he slammed his hand onto it. If that's it, he had to place the plushie near him. And it also explains the mysterious blood on the plushie.
But the plushie wasn't near him, though.
So the blood on the plushie came from Nagito after he stabbed the knife into his own right hand.
I see. So that's the trick.
But for a moment, I seriously thought Monokuma died or something.
A bleeding plushie is super scary. It's got the same fear factor as a doll whose hair grows too
Maybe I'm
long.
overthinking this. Let's be careful not to overthink things.
After stabbing his hand, he no longer needed the plushie, so he cast it off toward the fire's origin point.
How?
He probably thought the fire would incinerate it and destroy the evidence.
How would he cast it off, though? I guess maybe his hand was not, because it looks like his hand is stuck to the ground with the knife, but maybe it isn't. Maybe the knife is just through his hand, but it's not actually like stuck to the ground.
So what do you think now?
So maybe he was
Yukiko?
still able to use it and throw away the plushie, I guess.
I get what you're saying about the wound on his right hand, but there's still one huge problem. The spear. Basically, you're saying Nagito committed suicide by impaling himself with a spear, right? If you think about the order, getting killed by the spear should have been the last thing to happen to Nagito.
Don't think it's stuck. It's on the floor. Yeah. Don't think you would be able to pierce it with a knife. That's what I was thinking too, but still.
If that's true, how is that possible? He can't grab a spear with his right hand if a knife is stabbed into it and his left hand was all tied up.
Well, yeah, he probably just threw the plushie away after he stabbed himself. That's true.
Then he probably took the spear first, and as he endured the pain, he stabbed the knife into his right hand.
There is a limit to his constitution. If you got penetrated by something so big and thick, you would die instantly.
It's a sex joke, haha.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
Like I
Kazuichi,
said,
we get
if you
it.
got penetrated by something so big and thick, you would die instantly.
Say it one more time.
Okay,
Bastard, you
sure.
better cut it out.
Like she said, in that condition, it's very difficult to
Well,
stab yourself with
we
a spear.
know he probably propped the spear on the ceiling girder, right?
It'd be hard to use a spear with a knife stabbed into your right hand while your left hand is tied up.
So you're saying it's impossible?
But no matter what I think, I can't believe Nagito's death was caused by someone else.
I also agree with that. To think that one of us could kill someone with such cruelty, I could never believe that.
You say you can't believe it? You just don't want to believe it, right? But that's why you keep getting betrayed over and over again, right? Same goes for this time, too.
You just shut your mouth. It's against the rules to interfere with everyone.
He did prop the spear. That's
If you even
pretty
think
much
about doing
the case.
anything, I have a plan of my own.
But how did he... Like, what would set off the spear to fall? Right? Because he would need to have it timed.
Monomi sassing me.
But it's just as Monokuma said. We've been betrayed over and over again so far. This might also be the same. Calling this a suicide takes too much for granted, and it's too convenient.
Then are you saying there is a killer among us, Kazuichi?
Of course, that doesn't include Miss Sonia and me.
As Kazuichi said, it's true we've been constantly betrayed. But even if I'm betrayed again, I still want to believe in everyone. No matter how many times I may be betrayed, I still want to believe in everyone.
I also want to believe that there's no killer, but suicide is unimaginable.
Do you really think so?
But you said it too. It'd be impossible for him to stab himself with a spear in his condition.
There was a weight on a chain on the other side of the spear. So it's definitely possible that it was propped up.
I did say difficult.
But how?
But I never said impossible. I feel that there's some way he could have stabbed himself with that spear.
What kind of way?
I don't know.
You don't know.
It's impossible to figure out by myself. So let's think about it together. That's how we made it this far up till now.
Everyone working together.
She's right. We made it through several ordeals up until now by doing that. Then even now,
Alright, let's do this.
another argument. It's probably gonna be the blood on the girder, right? Oh, we don't have the blood on the girder here, actually. Monokuma plushie, burnt rope, survival knife.
How did Nagito stab himself with a spear?
Blood on the left hand. Oh? Interesting. Blood was splattered on the palm of Nagito's left hand, but for some reason the splatter cuts off in the middle of his palm, so he was definitely holding something. Also, the back of his left hand has an unnatural bloodstain. It's only above the middle joint of his fingers. This might be it. Duct tape, Monokuma plushie, oil lighter.
When the spear stabbed
Alright, let's
Nagito,
hold this for now.
his right hand was covered by the knife, right?
He was only able to move his left hand.
But his left hand was also tied up.
Then that rules out his left hand.
Except,
No, that's wrong.
that was easy.
Hold on. It's still too early to dismiss the possibility that he
Maybe.
used his left.
Alright, I think I got it. So he propped up the spear on the ceiling by using the chain, and he held the chain with his left hand. So when he wanted to die, he just let go of the chain, and the spear would just fall on him. Right?
Why? I mean, his left hand was tied up, you know?
He wouldn't have need to move his left hand, he just needed to hold the chain and let it go.
But there was something off about his left hand. The bloodstain on the palm of his hand. Don't you think it looked somewhat strange? He only had blood on the lower area of his palm. Beyond that point, the bloodstain suddenly cuts off, right?
When the blood splattered, that's as far as it reached, right?
That settles the description of that bloodstain. But it's not the only unnatural bloodstain. Look, there's blood on the back of his hand, around the middle joints of his fingers.
Nagito sure went through a lot of trouble.
Like you said,
He
it
did.
looks like an unnatural bloodstain, but what's wrong with that?
And there's also the poisonous smoke. So, this was definitely set up by him, that's no doubt.
We might need to think and use our imaginations for a bit. If there's blood on his palm and the back of his hand, what was his left hand doing as the blood splattered?
What was Nagito's left hand doing when the blood splattered? Gripping.
I see.
When the blood splattered, he was probably gripping with his left hand. That's why there's such a strange looking bloodstain on his palm and the back of his hand.
Was he grabbing his front tail?
Perish the thought! He was obviously grabbing the spear.
Now that you mention it, compared to the rest of his body, the wounds on his left arm are pretty mild.
Exactly, if you look at the chain and the weights, there's exactly a portion of it where there's no blood. You can see it, right? Right by the end of it. That's where Nagito was holding it.
He probably made his wounds mild on purpose, so he could keep his strength while he gripped the spear.
But even if he held the spear with his tied up left hand, it'd be impossible for him to stab
So it
himself.
seems like we solved this already. That's right,
Hey,
that's the
Chiaki,
problem.
What do you think? Hey, don't tell me you're getting sleepy.
At times like this, you should always strike from a good angle. Just like fixing an old TV.
Oh, I got it. Maybe.
Really?
Yeah, like I thought. It's no mistake that Nagito was gripping the spear. I think.
Not the spear, but the chain.
However, what's important is what section of the spear
Exactly.
he was gripping.
What section of the spear he was gripping? The cord.
I see.
That's it. Instead of the handle, Nagito must have been holding on to the cord. There was a metal weight at the tip of the cord, but there were bloodstains on that part too. Plus, the joint between the weight and the cord had a bloodstain shaped like it was cut off by something.
Isn't the size of that cut-off section about the same size as a human fist?
Ah, you're right. So this is the part Nagito was gripping, huh? And then the blood that was supposed to end up here ended up getting on Nagito's left hand.
There we go.
But why
Mystery
is it so important
solved.
to know which part of the spear he was gripping?
You're not gonna say he gripped the tip of the cord, swung the spear around, and stabbed himself, right?
That is where the clue to solve this mystery resides.
No,
right,
the spear
Chiaki?
was propped up around the girder on the ceiling.
I am sorry.
Not the ceiling, the
Of course,
rooftop,
this mystery
I guess.
will not be solved that easily.
Nagito was gripping the cord extending from the butt of the spear with his left hand, but from there, how would he stab himself in the stomach with the spear?
It seems we are stuck. Shall we have tea time?
At a time like this,
I'm all stuck, I've solved this.
how about we stick to the plan to think one step at a time instead of expecting the answers all at once?
That's a long plan name.
One step at a time. What does that mean?
Let's focus on the spear first. Namely, where it was and how it was positioned just before it impaled Nagito.
Just had tea. I actually just had lunch. Well, not just. A couple of hours ago, I guess.
How it was positioned.
Oh, tea and brownies. Sounds pretty good, yeah. Nagito was facing up and the spear was stabbed through his stomach. So if it's just before that, that's it. Could it be the state of the spear and the fact that Nagito was holding the tip of the cord attachment? Put the two together and think about it. I should be able to figure out where the spear was and what state it was in before it stabbed Nagito. Logic dive? That seems like it. We've already solved this though, so it should be easy. Such challenge. Such action. Oh my god! I really should start using the brakes, I guess. That's fine, that's fine. Okay, question 1. Where was the spear just before it impaled Nagito? Above Nagito. Oh, that was easy. Oh my god. God damn it. Oh my god. Alright. Oh no. I always think these things will go further than they actually go, so I always hit into them because they come back faster than I would expect. Oh my god. I'm losing all my life actually. Besides the spear, what else was above Nagito? The ceiling girder. We solved this already, you're sure? Just have to go through the motions. Oh no. Ah! We dodged that one. Not bad, not bad. That one went way further than I thought it would. Oh, there we go. Nice and easy. Okay, give me the last question, please. Question 3. An item that connects the spear in the ceiling girder. The rope on Nagito's right hand. No, the rope on Nagito's left hand! Oof. The spear's cord, actually. Oh my god, what am I talking about? I didn't even see the spear's cord. That's obviously the correct answer. I thought that was what they meant by the cord on his left hand.
It's all coming together.
Alright. Actually, not that difficult. At this point,
Spear impaled Nagito as he
we're
was laying
pretty
face
sure
up. It must have been perpendicular to him just before that.
that it was suicide, so this is pretty much solved already.
Perpendicular. In the middle of
Unless there's a twist.
If Nagito did that all by himself, did he have some sort of ESP?
That'd be awesome, but he'd probably use the ceiling girder directly above him.
Nagito probably slung the cord over the ceiling girder, and using that as a support, he hoisted the spear directly above him. And if Nagito let go of the cord, the spear would have fallen and impaled him while he was laying face up.
I noticed a slight red streak on the ceiling girder. It probably got smeared there during the setup.
Yeah.
The blood on the cord probably rubbed off on the ceiling girder as the spear was falling. So, how about it? Using this method, Nagito could have impaled himself with the spear.